Oh, you gotta activate it. I'm over there. Good morning, everybody. Okay, there we go. Good. We'll do a lot. Go ahead. You can take it from here.
Hello.
We'll do
good
it live.
morning.
I don't know if that's going out. Hit that pause button right there, and we'll go there, ladies and gentlemen. It is today. It's going to be Director Summer.
Oh,
Yes,
wish me luck.
she is running stuff. It is okay. This is what happens when it's live. So we got things going. I don't know if you guys were able to hear the intro music. If not, this is part of the fun about having the live show. There we go. Is you get to experience stuff before it's all edited, and then we edit it.
Yeah, and then it's perfect.
And then everything is just great. All the ums are gone. Have you ever noticed that? I go in and take all the ums out.
Yeah, I love it. Love that.
Make yourself sound really good. So
yeah, so Johnny's in the dark today. So I'm running the studio. So bear
nervous.
with me.
I'm somewhat
nervous too.
But you're doing great so far. The show started, right?
Yeah.
All right, so it's there. So hey, it's ladies and gentlemen, I am Johnny Awesome. With me as always. She definitely is Summer. Summer something who happens to be Summer who she's producing the show today, everybody.
Oh yeah.
Produce some. Yep, there you go. So
Produce some.
So this is really interesting because we had a whole show. So last week we did a show about the brain and entrepreneur stuff, and we had a lot of feedback from that. And we only got through one of the 4 points or whatever.
Yeah, because there was a lot to talk about with that one.
And then this whole week, I've actually been coaching agents and had agents come in, and they've mentioned the episode, and they mentioned that they really liked the brain stuff and the tips and the hacks. So today was going to be a continuation. We were going to go into part 2 of the brain. Talk about some extra things that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, this whole thing about the DOJ kind of blew up and Donald Trump wanting to pick this lady and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And so I thought, all right, so we definitely need to talk about that.
Yeah.
So that is what we're going to talk about today. The echo in here is, can you hear the echo in your headset too?
Echo, yeah.
I gotta fix that. Let's see. There we go. Welcome to a live show. That's a song that's real.
Oh, that's better.
Is that better? Yeah. Apparently I was just too loud. Who would have thought?
But yeah, that's a hot topic. It's actually all over social media right now. When I logged in.
What are you seeing on social media? Do you follow a lot of the Insta influencer realtors and stuff like that?
I do actually. Yeah. I have like an interesting algorithm, I'd say. But last night it was all politics.
Hang on, what's your algorithm? Like, what do you if you were to do it? Actually, you know what? Why are we talking about it? Do it right now. What's the first post you see?
Let's see what the first video on TikTok is.
I like this. Let's see what your algorithm. I'm going to make a guess. I'm going to make a guess that it's either going to be a makeup tutorial, and I don't know. I'm just guessing, or it's going to be like it's going to be some sort of song.
Blake
dance.
Lively says Justin, someone ruined her reputation. Okay, I don't know. Woman hit with instant karma after fit of road rage.
Okay, there it is.
That's an interesting one.
She's getting hit with karma, all right.
Yeah. Anyway,
karma looked like a Ford Focus.
But yeah, I seen like that lady that Trump brought in was all over.
Yeah, that Pam Bond gal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are people like in the social realms? What, like, you're seeing it all over the place. What are people all up about?
Well, it seemed like, from my point of view, it seemed like she was getting questioned a lot by a senator in California specifically. It was a video that I was watching, but it seemed like she was almost getting like interrogated. So I'm not really sure, really what's going on in that aspect, but it seemed as if the response was like, either is she getting attacked by this person, or is she smart enough to, like, does she know what she's talking? I don't really know,
Yeah. I have not seen any of the clips from it yet. Like I said, I was just reading through the news while preparing for this, and I'm like, oh, cool, with some Trump stuff. And then I saw everyone's talking about this. Yeah. And it's interesting because for myself anyway, when it comes to a podcast, I've been covering the DOJ stuff. I think we've now for 4 years, 3 or 4 years now. So it's crazy how it keeps being there. But here's kind of what's going on. So Trump President-elect Trump has nominated the Pan. I believe it's Bondi. I'm assuming that's it. I don't watch the news, so I don't get these names right.
Sure.
I read books. But he appointed her to be the U.S. general. And then, yes, you're right. She was being questioned by U.S. senators. And one of the things that they kept hitting on her was how the Department of Justice was going to be continue to basically stick it around the whole real estate industry.
Yep.
Which is interesting in the first place. And what was going to happen. And what's interesting about this, from what I have gathered, is she is essentially stating that she's going to be continuing to allow the DOJ, and she's actually all about antitrust as well. So, for those of you that have, there's some agents that have just started. There's agents that have been in for a really long time. This whole thing had started a long time ago, and realistically, what the DOJ was pushing for was, they believed that pocket listing, which it was true, but they were getting involved in real estate, claiming that we were all saying, hey, this is what the commission is, and breaking deals behind the buyer and seller's backs, and the seller didn't realize that they were paying buyer commission. Buyers didn't realize that they were actually paying buyer commission. And what people were doing with marketing, they were making all sorts of claims and stuff. The DOJ came along, said you can't do that. NAR settled with them. A lot of people were upset about that NAR settlement because it didn't seem like it actually solved anything for us, the realtor. They should have fought a little bit more. And then the DOJ accepted the NAR settlement and said, but we're still going to come after you anyway. And we want to place more government in there. So it's going to be interesting. The antitrust in real estate right now, what's going on is the NAR, I'm going to summarize this right now. The DOJ has challenged the National Association of Realtors and other industry players on anti-competitive behaviors. This settlement required changes such as, and we've seen these changes, right?
Yeah.
Transparency and agent compensation. We have also had to now take the actual, hey, we're going to pay a buyer's agent. We've had to take that out, right?
Completely out, yeah.
Now it has to be communication. And there's been some creative way that people have gotten around that. But the other thing that's happened is that the buyers now really have to understand agency.
Yeah, they really do. That's the most important part.
Here's the crazy part. And somebody brought this to my attention, and we will definitely be having this conversation again. I just got a hold of somebody that we're going to have as a guest on our show.
Ooh.
I've never been, listen, and I apologize if one of our past guests are listening, but as far as today's day and climate, what's going on with NAR, I've never been more excited to have a conversation with a guest.
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I do, actually. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So anyway, that's coming up, and anyway, I don't want to get too much into that, but
that will be exciting though.
We are going to get into all of that stuff. And the real question that was asked, and Keith Simon of Snap Homes told me this the other day, which is another really interesting insight, is NAR is an association. Not how does an association legally hold somebody responsible for what they do or don't do?
Yeah, I know. When he was talking about that, I was like, it makes you think a little bit differently. You're like, I didn't think about it like that. Like it's association.
Yeah. Well, I said the other day, that's kind of like Blockbuster. Right? Yeah. You join Blockbuster, you get a card.
Yeah, you're part of a group.
What does your card tell you? Okay, now back in the day, you probably don't remember this. There was these VHSs.
I remember Blockbuster.
You remember Blockbuster? Yeah, did you have a Blockbuster
There was
card?
a Blockbuster right here in Lake Orion.
Did you have a card for them?
Like my mom. I was still young.
Yeah, okay.
Like I wasn't even a preteen.
So imagine Blockbuster telling you to be kind, rewind, right?
Yeah.
And then, so you join an association, you're joining Blockbuster Club. And part of the rules are you have to rewind your tape or whatever. Mm-hmm. But what if part of their rules were, but you have to have fewer than 5 people watch this movie, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how are you going to actually,
sell,
monitor that, and who's gonna, and how are you telling me that joint, anyway, more on that. I don't want to get too
it's like you join Blockbuster, but to be a part of Blockbuster and to have the card that says you're Blockbuster approved, you have to follow these guidelines that may not fully resonate with you.
Right.
You're like, question.
It's the terms of service, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting
about this. The terms of service.
Because how many times do we just say yes to terms of service And we have no idea what we're saying yes to.
I know.
Like you're super big, like you like TikTok and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like part of the terms of service, and I read this, is 100% legit. It says China now owns your identity. And you're like, sure, China, take it, right? Like we don't even read that stuff anymore.
No, I know. I honestly, nothing comes up with the terms of service until it like goes viral. And then like it's everywhere and everybody's following a lawsuit or something.
Right.
There's been like so many lawsuits, even with Facebook.
Yeah.
So once there was a lawsuit and Facebook prompted me. It was like, oh, you could be compensated. I was like,
for
okay.
What?
I don't know, but I think I got like 80 cents.
Did you really? You did it? That's funny.
I did it.
I want 80 cents.
I can't remember if it was something with pictures. I don't remember, but it was like such a huge lawsuit, but so many active users.
Yeah, through Facebook?
So everybody got like 80 cents.
Man, I get those things all the time. I always just thought they were scams.
No, sometimes it's legit.
Yeah.
Sometimes yeah.
I got one for I think I got one for Netflix. Like if you've ever had a Netflix account, like you can click here
I think I seen that one too.
Yeah.
But it's like, what did Netflix do?
So this is a side note, but talk about a side gig.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the person like this is what they do? Like they sit at home online and they're like, all right, what lawsuits can I be part of?
Seriously.
So I can get 80 cents at a time. And then eventually.
I know, like at that point, you might as well keep it to yourself.
Or right. But they don't. So they're one of, I mean, how many people do you think just sit around and they're like.
There's so, sometimes I get like dumbfounded by like, there's actually like so many people in this world, like sometimes I just forget how many people there truly is. Yeah. Like millions. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because the thing that's really interesting about people groups is how corporations and companies and stay tuned, I'll full circle this, how they collect our data and how they can actually tell who you are and how to advertise to you. Mm-hmm. That is crazy.
Well, me and Johnny, it's funny, and I'm sure everybody else could probably relate to this, but we just were having a random side conversation about psychics. My social media now.
Hang on, I just want to preface this. We were having a conversation on how it's fake. Psychics are fake.
We were having a conversation about how they were fake.
And I was teaching.
But
I was
now
showing
my whole TikTok
is all fake psychics.
It's like my phone was listening and thinks now I need a reading.
Isn't that the wildest thing?
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing.
It's just funny. And I'm sure, like I said, other people can relate to that.
Have you ever had Hispanic friends in your car and then your Spotify ads or whatever you're listening to will switch to Spanish?
That's so funny. But actually, yeah, I have.
It's the craziest thing.
I actually have.
It's crazy.
It's like their Spotify is like, they can tell it's close with my Spotify. And
they know that you're in the same area.
Yeah.
They're collecting all of that data.
Yeah.
And then what they do with it is they use that. Yeah,
they use it to. And what are they going to sell you or market to you? And
we know that this happens. Is the craziest part. But it's when it really throws you off, like you said, at products that you've never looked at or watched before. It's funny.
Yeah.
I get ads for Jeeps. My thoughts.
It's because you're hanging out with me so much.
It's because we're constantly talking about them.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Jeep fan. Like I've never just looked at a Jeep, and I don't want to just look at a Jeep. So I'm always like, not relevant.
Now you're stuck looking at Jeeps.
Yeah. Just wait till I don't know.
He's gonna fall trap to the Jeep life.
I don't listen. Okay, I don't even want to get into this argument either. I'm not going to get in an argument with all the Jeep people out there, but I will say that I do know that there's a specific type of Jeep person that believes that all the other Jeeps aren't real Jeeps, and I agree with them. If you can't take the doors and the roof off of your Jeep, I don't think it's a Chrysler.
Yeah, we'll debate that later. Okay, it's a Chrysler.
We'll put that on the side. But what's interesting about the people groups, and this actually is hey, let's do a pro tip. Here's something. I took this principle, and I just taught somebody a script about this the other day. But I took this principle and I used it with script working. So think about the people groups that are out there, and as much as we like to think that we're unique.
Yeah.
And I like to think that I'm unique. There is some group of people out there that's just like me. Like I'm put into this group of 100,000 people that have the same personality type, would laugh at the same thing. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden I'm categorized as this type of person that gets this type of advertising. Yep. This really became big from Target. Have you ever heard me tell the Target story and how this whole thing worked and how Target hid ads? Listen to this. I think it was back like in in the mid 2000s. I don't know. Somebody can correct me. But do you know how you get junk mail? Do you get junk mail at your house? Do you get the mail at your house?
Yeah.
You ever get those, like the junk mail where it's like the advertisement sheet and it looks like a newspaper, but it's not?
Yeah, all the time.
So what happened was Target was sending those ads out and targeting people. And they sent this ad out to this 13-year-old girl about baby stuff. Okay, 13-year-old girl, they sent her stuff for newborn babies.
Okay.
Her dad, who happened to be on the Supreme Court, got mad because he said, this is an example of somebody going after smaller girls and then putting on them. And he thought that this was just completely inappropriate. So he went after them for this, right? Mm-hmm. Through this, what was discovered was this 13-year-old girl happened to be pregnant. The dad didn't know, but Target knew based on the things that she was buying and how she was buying them.
What she was maybe searching.
Well, in 2005, it was all off of purchases.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
2005.
I mean, there was search. I was Lycos. I don't know.
But it wasn't as active as like apps nowadays. When you download even like something like Kohl's, it's going to ask you yes or no. Is this app allowed to track you across other platforms?
That's crazy.
Yeah. But depending on the app, I'm not going to lie. I've lately, depending on the app, I say yes. Because honestly, it ends up being helpful.
It does. So, Google back in the day had a mission to put an advertiser in front of you. So if you were about to buy a car and you didn't even know you were about to buy a car, Google wanted to get their advertising so precise that it would start showing you car ads for a car before you knew that you were about to buy it. Mm-hmm. So Google wants to get to the point where they know you so well that you don't even know you. Yeah. Oh man, I'll take that full circle too. Therefore, they're showing you things that you don't know that you need today,
right,
to go and purchase tomorrow. It's which, if you think about it, is brilliant marketing.
It's convenience.
And think about this, especially as realtors, that's the type of thing that we need to be doing. And it's stuff like pre-marketing. Back in the day, they used to sell something that they would call pre-Zillow ads. Now, I'm going to tell you guys how they were doing this. Do you guys know what a pre-Zillow ad is? Do you know what that person is?
No, I don't know.
So these are nothing more than somebody went out there and put a bunch of ads on Facebook and got all these people. Because typically, people that are on Facebook and do Facebook ads and click on them, they are in the very early stages of purchasing a home. It's something they just thought about. They wanted to see the pretty picture, but they aren't in the stage where they're actively searching yet.
Yeah, like they don't know their price point yet, and they don't know.
Yeah, they're just
they're browsing.
There's an inkling. Yeah, they're just browsing.
I mean, I do it sometimes.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is that person gets in this pool. And then these people were selling these guys as pre-Zillow leads because they knew that they were eventually going to purchase, because the only reason that you'd even ever look is because there's an inkling, right? Yeah. If your mind wasn't aware of it at all, and there was no chance that you're going to be doing this thing,
you wouldn't be seeing it.
Like buying a Jeep, why would you ever even, you wouldn't even search it. You know what I mean? So what they were doing is they were bundling all these people together and then showing them how to get pre-Zillow leads, which is genius. It's a way to get a lead before Zillow. And we're going to talk about that again a little bit later as well. But to circle back, here's what Target did. So this whole thing came out. The guy couldn't do anything, but Target learned something. Everybody got freaked out all of a sudden because they realized that the stores were tracking them in a way that they didn't realize stores were tracking them. And all of a sudden, everybody felt like they were being invaded. Yeah. Right? My privacy. Yeah. Privacy. Guys, we're at cash registers. Every register has a camera staring straight at you.
I know. Privacy.
Privacy. So what ended up happening is this. Target came up with this ingenious idea that what they were going to do is they were going to send these ads out to everybody. So now it doesn't seem targeted. Every single neighbor in your neighborhood gets the exact same ad.
Right.
The difference is, if you look at your ads, and for those of you that are on the podcast, I'm taking 3 sheets of paper to demonstrate this, and it's one of the reasons why you should check back if you're just listening and actually see this live. But what ends up happening is, if you receive those ads, you'll notice that the papers are always like this, but there's like this middle section that's like loosely hanging out.
Yeah.
And it's just almost like it's about ready to fall out.
Uh-huh.
That middle section is for you.
Yep.
So what they're doing is they're taking the same, everybody gets the same outside ad, but that one sheet that's on the inside that looks like it's about to fall out.
Imagine the time that took.
To do that. I just love the guy. Have you seen this new Walmart ad? Have you seen all these memes going on about this too?
No.
Like, I feel like it's the same thing. Okay, so Walmart just updated their ad. You haven't seen this?
No.
Oh my gosh, Google it right now.
Okay.
Google Walmart's new ad. So Walmart decided.
Does anybody know what he's talking about?
It's all over. So it's funny. Our algorithms are different. You're watching people get run over by cars or some crazy
I know.
thing.
What the heck?
And I'm seeing marketing and advertising. Yes, Walmart just updated their ad. This is where I wish I could share this with you.
Is it in
do you see it?
No.
If you
I googled Walmart's new ad.
I'm sorry, logo. Type in logo.
New logo.
Yeah. I meant logo. Walmart's new logo.
Oh, Walmart has updated its logo.
Do you see the two pictures?
With the
So the Walmart executives said that they wanted their new logo to be bolder and brighter.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So if you haven't seen this right now, Google Walmart's new logo. It is literally the exact same logo, but somebody just hit the bold button.
Yeah.
And then made it slightly more yellow.
It says, I found this article, Walmart's new look is dividing the internet. Here's why.
It's crazy. What's funny is I love somebody came on and said, who got paid for this?
You know, seriously. So it's just the old one. It's just thinner. It says Walmart, and then it's the yellow point.
The sunshine thing, right?
The sunshine, yeah. And then the new one, it's the same thing. Same. It's just way bolder.
It's just a little bit bigger. Bigger is better.
Bigger is better.
It's just so funny because, again, people are like, who came up with this?
It says Walmart unveils modern new logo.
It's the same.
That's funny. That is funny.
I love Robert Courtney actually put this out. Shout out to Robert Courtney. If you're not following him, make sure that you do. And I love what Robert Courtney put out. Yeah. You know, it's been like 20 years. Everybody's yelling over this logo. Walmart just basically bolded it. But what does it matter? Everybody knows who Walmart is anyway.
I know, yeah.
And his point has always been, and it's true because real estate agents fall into this all the time.
Yeah.
Not just real estate agents, entrepreneurs in general seem to fall into this all the time.
Anybody who wants to start their own business even.
What is my logo going to look like? Yeah. And then they spend way too much time trying to figure that out to realize that that's not the branding. Your message and who you are is the branding. Yeah. The logo is always secondary. And logos can be changed.
And then you're probably trying to figure out your logo, and here you are like, you're lost because you don't even know what is your brand, and then you give up.
Yeah, right.
I'm not starting a business anymore.
You know what logo I've never been able to figure out that always just I hate? Is there a logo that you just hate?
No.
There's a logo that I don't know why. Maybe because I'm a marketing guy. Again, my algorithms are different.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm always looking at logos. You know that like there's secret things hidden in logos too, right?
No.
Like, did you know that the Wendy's logo, the little girl, if you look at her shirt, it spells mom?
No.
Yeah, okay. So logos.
Cool. We love Wendy's nuggets. So
I just like neat Wendy's. You've hidden a word.
We have something hidden in our logo.
Yeah? Do we? Yeah, I mean, yes, we do. Wait.
Don't we?
Wait. Oh, okay. I like that. All right, good. Yes, we do. And I bet you nobody can figure it out.
I bet you can't figure it out.
If you do, put it below. Summer will create a gift basket for you.
Yeah, I will.
Even I didn't know it was there. I had to mute the mics because I was like,
I didn't know you could do that. By the way, Johnny just put us completely mute.
Oh yeah. I could do that anytime I want. I could do all sorts of things. That's fun. But what the logos are an interesting thing, but there's one logo that I can't stand, and that's Kroger's gas station logo. I don't know. There's something about. Have you ever seen that?
Like I'm trying to. Yeah, I go to Kroger's gas station. Like that's where I get my gas, but I can't think of the logo.
So look up Kroger's gas station logo. I don't know what it is about it.
I don't think I pay attention.
It just makes me mad. I don't know why. I know that's not what they're like. I just hate it that much. Like it's just so What is this even supposed
that just
to be?
bothers you? Oh yeah, like just it's like a diamond.
Do you know what that's supposed to be? That's supposed to be America. Yeah.
Like
it's the worst. It looks like, see, here's why, I guess why that makes me like, because and as somebody that has done a lot of marketing,
yeah,
I know that the guy that created that probably had some really awesome designs, but some super stiff guy was like, so he had all these awesome designs, and the guy was like, I don't like any of these. So he just drew a couple triangles.
He was like, perfect.
And said, it looks like America.
Picasso.
And then somebody was like, that's the one. And it makes me mad for that marketer guy, because I'm like, I know there had to have been a better idea than that.
I'm sure they've updated logos throughout the years.
Everybody does. It does happen, you know, like it's one of those things where, again, logos always
like the point you were going back to, you're so focused on if you're trying to focus on the logo first, you know, you haven't even decided everything else, and eventually your logo might change, and most likely it will. Honestly, hopefully it will change, right?
I've already got our versions 2.0 and 4.0 in process, so I'm like,
there it is.
I'm ready. You know?
No, I think change is awesome, and as long as you remember Summer and Johnny, and I think the rest will come with.
Open house will always be there. What if you had a logo just for who you were? Like, what would your logo look like or be?
You know what I think?
Yeah,
I think my logo, it's like my favorite emoji right now. It just
the poop emoji.
It's like the 3 diamonds. It's actually isn't that a car brand?
Are the 3 diamonds?
Yeah, diamonds.
I'm bad at cars.
It's just like diamond Subaru? Here, a diamond here, and a diamond here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my logo.
That would just be that. No S or what would that represent? What is that? Why would that represent? Summer.
It's like an aesthetic.
So you would just be plain, they'll figure it out from here? Like there's no like, well, diamond on top represents this, and this diamond represents this.
You know, I might have to think about this.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to come up with it on the spot.
But I do think the diamonds would be a cool logo for me.
Yeah,
and then I'll figure out what they mean.
What as you go,
as we go.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's okay. You can build the airplane while you're.
But you know me, I like things that sparkle anyway.
Yeah,
like very broad, generalized category.
Yeah, yeah. No, I like it. I think it's good. At one point in time, I drew myself a logo, and it looked like a mix between like a seal, like the old kings used to have the wax rings, and then they would seal letters. So it looked like that, but like almost like a flower too.
That's cool. And if you think about it, people's logo really is their signature, right?
It's weird. It can be, and again, so
because I've got my signature logo down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love it.
What's your signature? You mean you sign well?
Yes.
I've never seen your signature before.
I'll show you guys.
Yeah, let's do it. It's time for a signature off.
A signature off.
We are so off topic right now. I don't know how to get. Steve, can we get a marker? Steve will grab us a marker, and we will have. Have you? Because you've never seen my signature.
No.
I would love. I'm not gonna lie. I think one of the greatest advertisements, and they kept advertising it to me. I have a great logo, great signature. I have a great logo too.
Yeah.
It's the best. I have a really good signature, but when they started advertising those guys that would take your signature to the next level for $100, I was like, this might be the best $100 I ever spent. I haven't done it yet.
Really? I've seen that too.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Just to see what they might add to it.
Yeah.
Because I think I worked on mine for years and years. What's the best part is I have 2 signatures. I have my legal signature, and then I have my other signature.
Yeah.
And what's nice about memorizing somewhere along the lines, and this isn't legal advice, blah, 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 you check with your broker, attorney, whatever. Somewhere along the line, somebody told me that you should learn how to sign your name 2 different ways, and you should learn how to sign your name with your left hand.
Oh.
That way,
why?
If there's a document, say that you need to sign, but you don't necessarily want to sign.
Okay, yeah, check with your brokers. It's not legal advice.
No, this is just what I was told. Allegedly, I was told that if you should learn how to sign with your left hand in a completely different signature.
Yeah.
In case you ever need to use it. That's just what I've been told.
It's not bad advice.
No. But it's hard. It's hard to learn
something. Yeah.
So Target decided that what they were going to do was put the ad that's in the middle. So just like I said, the guy with the logo that was like, I'll just bold it.
Yeah.
Target, somebody just came along and said, well, what if we just made the middle part come out a little bit? And they're like, genius. Give that was what?
That voice was crazy.
That was the guy. That was Steve. Oh, I got an idea. Hit the bold button.
Hit the bold button.
Hit the bold button. I'd love to have a bold button.
But yeah, that is interesting. And it's true though, you know, your logos change, you change, and everything doesn't really matter. Yeah.
So the Department of Justice. So let's move on to this bullet point. The DOJ has challenged the National Association of Realtors and other industries on anti-competitive behaviors. The settlement recently talked about transparency as far as agent compensation, which we've had, and then getting rid of cooperative commission, where the sellers indirectly pay the buyer's agents. Now, here's what's really interesting about what's coming up about all this. So at the end of the day, it looks like we are actually not looking at just a settlement, but that there's actually going to be an increase in oversight from the Department of Justice to actually continue to not only monitor, but want to continue to push for more and more changes in the real estate industry, which is really interesting. So I started researching what some of these changes could be and some of the things that different people have put together of what they'd want to see changes. And some of these are really, really wild. So for instance, what happens? Here's one example. They're pushing for further changes to the commission structure. They want to end cooperative compensation altogether, which means that they would eliminate the seller's obligation to pay the buyer's compensation at all.
Isn't that what just happened?
Well, no. Right now they have a choice.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that makes this weird. Think about this. Right now they have a choice, but it's almost like the choice isn't enough. We're going to make it so that they can't even pay it. We want to put a law that says if you're the buyer, you have to pay your own buyer's commission.
Okay, and then if you're the seller, then you have to pay your own seller.
Which is what happens anyway.
Yeah.
But now
the seller won't even have a choice.
Now they're taking the see, this is the thing where it becomes, how do you enforce that? Like if you're a seller, you like, I was just talking to somebody the other day, even about setting up a business, right?
Yeah.
If I have money and somebody gives me money and I want to give that money to somebody else, no matter what the circumstances are.
You are striking a deal.
Yeah.
And you are creating the terms of your deal. Us as real estate agents, we are guiding you and giving you advice and helping you negotiate.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is your money.
100%. It's
not
your
my
house.
money. Now, yes, I'm working and I do hope to get paid. Of course. Yeah. Of course I want to get paid. But you're right. Like at the end of the day, it is the person's money. So that is very interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So
if they want to share it, or if the deal looks better, if they, the terms are better, if they pay the buyer's agent commission, why shouldn't they do that?
It's crazy because it's one of those things where there's an underlying issues, and then through all of this, there is an issue with what ends up happening. What are the repercussions of all of this? Because if the buyer has to now pay their own agency, and they're doing the down payment right now, again, the buyers have the option and are being told right now legally we are required to tell the buyers that they pay agency. They always have. The sellers have reimbursed it.
Yeah.
Now it still was mostly business as usual. The sellers realize, there was this weird glip for a second, but we're still paying buyer's agency, because why would a buyer's agent ever even show the home if you don't have buyer's agency?
Yeah.
And now the buyers are, but if the seller doesn't have to pay it at all and they're saying, nope, this fee has to come from the buyer, now we're going to run into an issue that we were all kind of worried about in the first place. The buyer already has to come up with a down payment. The buyer already has to come up with all this other stuff.
Costs, yep.
And it's the buyer that is always tight. The seller is the one that has the money coming in. The buyer is the one that's always tight.
Yep.
So what would that end up doing to the market then?
Well, I think it would be harder to be a buyer. It's going to be harder than ever to buy a house, because not only do you have to come up with all the fees that you've always had to come up with, you know, like closing costs, your down payment, you know, every situation is different, but you know, that's commonly what it is. And now you have to come up with an extra, you know, maybe let's just say $5,000. It's like maybe a $250 house.
Yeah.
And you have to come up with an extra $5,000 to pay your agent.
Plus your down payment, plus your closing
And you
fees.
know what? Agents deserve to get paid. They work. And so, you know, bottom line, they deserve to get paid. Buyers deserve to, you know, have an agent that's going to work hard for them and represent them. And, you know, same with the sellers and the seller's agent. So I don't know.
Here's the crazy thing about real estate agents. Let's just be blatant here, guys. We have indirectly set 6% as a standard, 3% on one side, 3% on the other. Let's just say that is a standard. That's what the DOJ was fighting against. I know we're not supposed to say that, but
let's just say allegedly that's what
it always has been like that, and everybody's always understood and been okay with that. Do you realize
it's always been negotiable, though?
Our industry is the only industry that hasn't had any. It's always been that.
Yeah,
we've never received a raise.
No,
do you realize that?
Yeah.
So what's really interesting about the things that are coming up now is it seems like the real estate industry. One of the things that I'm interested in seeing what happens is there's a potential that we could actually end up going backwards, because instead of think about this, and it's weird. So here's another thing. Do you know about the whole tipping Michigan thing that's going on right now? And
not taxing.
No, they want to get rid of. So they want to push for the $12 minimum here in Michigan.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen is they're going to push that. That's going to put, I believe it was some crazy number, like 60% of all restaurants are going to be in danger if that goes through.
Yep.
Because their model doesn't hold up for it. Not only that, but the person that actually works, if you look at the average person who works well and understands how the tipping system works, in Michigan, they're averaging about $30 an hour.
Yeah. So
what's going to end up happening is that's going to come down, because in order to compensate for what they have to pay out as a restaurant now in their bills, all the prices are going to go up.
Yep.
They're going to go out of business. It seems really good, but now you got a person that was complaining because they wanted to earn, you know, they
were used to making $30 an hour.
Now they're making 12.
They're not going to work at the restaurant anymore.
Boom.
That's the thing, is they're all going to leave.
Well, and the restaurant can't afford it. Wasn't going to be able to afford to hold on to people
restaurants
anyway.
Will end up closing. I honestly think that's there'd be such a huge consequence that I
don't think about this stuff.
I don't really. I feel like someone had to have thought about this.
But it's all see what happens. This is what kind of is going on with the NAR. I do believe that agents should not have been out there saying, if you work for me, you know, I'm free and all this other stuff. Like, you should have known how the market works. I'm also not a big fan of pocket listings. Pocket listings, for as long as I've been around, is something that, you know, a pocket listing is where you have a listing, you don't put it on the MLS because you want to try to find the buyer yourself first.
It seems a bit selfish.
Well, what it is it goes back to what's in the best interest of your clients.
Exactly.
If you find the buyer for your seller's property, who are you really negotiating for at that point in time? Typically,
yourself.
Yeah. You're getting both sides.
You're getting both sides, double dipping.
You're double dipping. And what if you're okay, I got a $300,000 listing. If I would have put that on the market right now when there's no listings out there, guys, we all know what's going to happen, right? Highest and best.
Yep.
You're going to have multiple offers.
Yep.
But if I go to the seller and say, "Hey, I got a buyer right now that's willing to purchase the home. I don't even have to put it on the market. He's ready to go. He's coming in at $300,000. I just did a disservice to my seller because I didn't allow for the best offer to come through."
Agreed. Yeah.
I 100% believe in that. Yeah. Don't agree with pocket listings. I don't think they're a thing that should happen. I think that
unless that's something that the seller wants, unless some people don't want their house on any website. They don't want pictures or anything.
Yeah.
Some people are very private. Yeah, right. But some people are very private. So unless your client, because again, you work for your, you're working for your client and you're helping them, and that's your duty as their real estate agent. But I kind of see what you're talking about is that, when agents don't do that extra mile, like it's quite literally your job to do that.
Yes.
And it's a big deal, it's a really big deal. So
what ends up happening is there's good thought in there to actually protect the consumer.
Yeah.
But when that good thought comes in, now all of a sudden there's a way, I could do this, I can do this, I can do this, and it's foot in the door. It opens the door to things that we don't want to happen. Just like I said, somebody came along and said these poor servers only making, I don't know, $2 an hour or whatever.
Yeah, leave us alone, by the way. We're okay. So I bartend part-time. I'm sure, a lot of you know that. But if you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah.
So leave us alone. We're okay.
But see, this is an interesting thing about our society too. That's because you're one of the ones that does okay.
I do okay.
I do know how I do because so fun fact. You might not know this. Do you know I've bartended before?
I didn't know.
Yeah, I did great. I can understand why somebody would want to do it.
I've been bartending for 7 years. Yeah,
I was gonna issue a bartender. I was gonna, who could make more tips? Yeah. Who could make? If you took your regulars out of it, but put mine in. I got the.
All right, looks like I'm stealing your regulars, taking them to the dark side. I'm gonna win.
Yeah, you would.
Pie off.
If it was
we did a drink off.
If it was in the same, if it was in the same building, maybe. But you know what would end up happening? What would end up happening is it would just be like somehow I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going there. The point is. Somebody had good intentions, I believe, in the very beginning. But then through those good intentions, people take advantage when people have these good intention things come out. And then we can add more stuff in there. And then, like you said, somebody doesn't think about the overall consequence to all this.
Yes.
Like, hey, it sounds great for us to continue to raise minimum wage so that the average person can then make it. Yeah, but when you do that, then the companies have to raise their prices. And then I always come back to the real estate industry because it's interesting because then there's us. Mm-hmm. Where when everybody else's prices are raising, now all of a sudden this garbage is coming out. And now you're going to get like one of the biggest things, and people have been talking about this forever. You know that when we sign an agreement, we're saying that we are full service realtors, right? That means that we are going to do everything. We're going to take the pictures, put it on the MLS. We're going to market it. We're going to do all the things, right? One of the things that's coming out of this that they're estimating is going to end up happening is we're going to end up seeing more a la carte service that realtors are going to do. Meaning, you just want me to put it on the MLS? Perfect. It's going to be this small fee. So instead of earning a full commission, this guy is now doing everything a la carte. I'll send my professional photographer through there. Great. Now we're up to $600.
I don't like the way this is sounding.
Or the other thing that people are saying that they're worried that we're going to go to is a flat fee brokerage. So then a flat fee brokerage means that, okay, every listing that you do, it's a fee of $1,000. You charge $1,000 on this side, $1,000 on this side. So one of the biggest things that I see, and I was going to tell you the secret sauce behind it. I know that a lot of coaches, and I'm going to wrap this up with a nice bow tie, but I know that a lot of the coaches, a lot of trainers out there, I've been in the circles. I had a training company.
Yeah.
Our job is to make sure that you're positive, you're enthusiastic, and you're not seeing the ground, right?
Yeah.
But behind closed doors, we're all like, crap. Don't tell anybody. Shh. Now, here's the reason why, though. I'm going to get personal. Can I share something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I trust you.
I know you do.
Okay.
Good. You know what's funny? I saw the... Oh, wait, no, I trust them. Like, I saw the brief second.
The whole thing in my eyes.
I did. I watched it happen. Before we started this podcast today, I said to you, I wanted to share something with you. I was going to share it off, but I might as well share it on.
Yeah.
And this was the piece of information that I wanted to share, was the fact that there's a lot of people out there and they're noticing like it is difficult right now. And a lot of coaches and trainers and team leaders, Their job is to say great no matter what's happening, right? How's the market? Great, right?
Great.
You've heard, even, you've been taught that you're supposed to do that.
Yeah,
no matter
people
what.
ask me. I'm like, it's great.
The reason is because people are so flaky and they don't understand. And here's kind of where we're gonna wrap this all up in a bow right here, because this is the major thing of this whole show, and then we'll have to do the next part later, because this is where I really want to get at. We are only 17 days into January right now, but there are several people that I've talked to, and I mean just several people that I've talked to in this last 2 weeks, where they're like already burnt out, as if they've freaking worked an entire year, and they feel like I'm not seeing anything happen. And it's right now, everybody is really feeling that way.
Yeah.
The big teams I'm talking to, like the big agents out there with huge teams, they know that the market's not. Everybody is feeling that way.
Yeah.
The reason that your coach, your TL, or whatever are trying to stay positive is because some agents are too flaky to be able to take it and say, if it's to be, it's up to me. And they want to try to make sure that everybody is happy and energetic and positive going forward. I would say this to anybody out there. I challenge you. Don't rely on somebody else's positivity in order to take yourself forward. In other words, yes, it's tough. So what you need to know when it's tough like this is sometimes somebody has to come along and say, sup it up.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, somebody needs to just come by and be like, sup. Yeah, that's it. Somebody needs to come by and say, suck it up, cupcake.
Suck it up, cupcake.
That's it.
Yeah.
And really be, okay, what is your plan? And let's just put this into perspective, okay? If you don't have business this month, it's because prospecting didn't happen 3 months ago.
Right.
Or at all last year.
Yeah.
Okay? The people there's people right now that are having the best Januaries that they ever had. And if you look at the reason why, for the majority of them, I mean, I know that there's somebody in the millions of agents out there who started in business and then they had their whole family owned all these properties and they're like, hey, you're going to sell all my properties.
Yeah.
But somebody out there is having their best month ever. And it's because of the amount of work that they put in. But there's also a mindset section to this whole thing. And this is what I want to talk about. It is true that we need to pay attention to what the Department of Justice is doing. We need to have the questions of what happens if we go to this fee structure, which would suck. But if we start thinking about it now, then we can prepare for what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Not only prepare, meaning like, okay, I'm going to come up with a system on how to deal with this, but what do you need to do in a year in order to make sure that this year was successful?
Yeah.
It goes back to business planning. And if the business shifts to where now everything's a la carte, how can you stand out in an a la carte world?
I don't know.
But so you think, man, is there some cool thing that I can add that's a la carte different than what everybody else is?
And that's what it's going to end up being. Yeah,
it's going to come down
lots of creativity and I'm
sorry to listen. We're in an organization and a brokerage that's all about driving people in, right? But the problem is that with organizations where it's all about throwing people in, it doesn't matter if you have people in if they're not productive.
Yeah.
And right now we have a ton of unproductive agents. Not that they don't always necessarily want to, but it's because they don't understand one simple principle, and that is sometimes it's going to be whatever it takes to succeed.
Yeah.
And I know this is super rough for the normal, but these last 2 weeks I've had so many conversations with folks, and it really does start with your mindset and understanding. Don't complain that you haven't received any leads if you've only talked to 16 people. And not one of them has converted. Yeah. When we're 17 days into, you've talked to less than one person per day we've had in January. Yeah. And I've got agents that I've coached with now. I will say, especially if she's listening, we met yesterday for business planning, and now she's got a list of she went home with 60 people to call, not 16, 60. Yeah, good. Because we had to reorganize the thought process. And it's going to be in the years where things are hard. I had a really good mentor in real estate. His name's Steve Stockton in Commerce. And I remember he used to always talk about the ebbs and flows of the business. And this is something I think newer agents don't know because they haven't experienced it. And I think some of the older agents have forgotten. And some of the epic agents have left because they've been able to retire. They've got huge organizations and teams. So they've never been able to teach this down to their teams. They were the ones that went through this.
Yeah.
When that wave recedes and the whole tide starts to go away from the beach, the average agent is just going to stand on the beach and watch as that water disappears and goes away, and then hope that wave is going to come back and hit their feet again.
Yeah.
But the agent that understands how this business works realizes that in those years, and we're in one of those times right now, it's really difficult for the new agents. If you're a seasoned agent, and the craziest part is, and you've seen this, seasoned agents right now, they're like, I'm just getting all this business. I don't even want this business.
Yeah, I'm like, they're like, I'm so busy.
It's so horrible.
All my clients, all these listings. Oh my goodness, what am I gonna? I'm like, I can't help you.
But think about this: the reason that comes about.
Yeah.
See, now that could be really discouraging because then you're like, crap, I'm sitting here grinding every single day.
It can be for sure.
And then, but what happened was you don't see. Sometimes we forget. Well, there was the grind. That grind happened 4 years ago.
Exactly.
And now they have an established database. For newer agents trying to establish a database now, it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's difficult, though, doesn't mean that it's not doable.
Yeah.
It's all a mindset and really understanding it's not about focusing on today and what is happening right now, or even focusing on what's going to happen in the future. I'm super nervous. It's just understanding that no matter what happens, you're going to have to work hard. And some seasons you have to work harder than you ever had to work before.
Yeah.
I don't think that we're in the season right now where you have to work harder than you had before. When I first got in real estate, that was a tough time when nobody was buying any houses and nobody was selling any houses.
Well, yeah, I joined right after COVID. It was March.
COVID was an interesting time.
It was 2021 March.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe I'm wrong.
What, when COVID was?
Wait, hold on. When did I join real estate? It's 25 March would be 3 years, so 24, 23. Okay, it was in 2023. But I do remember, like, it was like March, and it was just so weird. It was no listings, like, and everybody kept telling me, you joined real estate at the worst possible time ever.
Why did your voice? Why does all the people
because
that
it was like
their voice is so low?
They'd be like, oh my god, you joined real estate? Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I was like, because. Don't question me.
But see, there's an opportunity. But see, some people don't get it. It's interesting because people run towards security too.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because in today's day and age, the security that they think they're running to is an illusion.
Yeah.
There's no security in anything. You want to go and run and work for a company. Companies are shutting down left and right. Mm-hmm. Burger King can't even keep its doors open. Come on, what's happening there?
What the heck?
All these Burger Kings are shutting down all of a sudden, right? Like this, there is the reason why we go after that entrepreneur dream. Now we're in control, but what happens is it's that entrepreneurial the graph that I show. I've never shown it on the Open House the podcast yet.
Yeah.
But it's that, this is going to be great, and then it sucks, and then we're in that valley of despair, and people don't understand that you have to stay there and continue to pound through until it happens finally.
Yeah, it's like set your path. So you chose real estate, and this is your first year, right?
Yeah.
You obviously joined real estate because there's a reason why you joined. There's something you want to get out of it, whether it's money, you just like working, whatever.
Yeah.
You have now started the path, right? Which is awesome. And like even today, I feel like I'm on the path to have the 2025 ending that I want,
right.
You know?
And that's great. I'm glad that you said that, because it is a lot about not what the 17th day of January is.
It's not.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that to you personally.
Oh, wow.
So good. It's not about the 17th. When we're in the rut, we're in the rut.
Yeah.
But it's not about what we're in right now. It's about where we're going. And again, math doesn't lie. When that water recedes, the smart person starts running towards the wave. Now, here's what ends up happening. And for those of you that really paid attention, you watched this with the Pernas and the Glovers and all these people that had started out as individuals. The market crashes. They start putting systems, and they work 12 hours a day. They're working harder than they ever worked before.
Yeah.
Then when that wave hit, everybody else was on the beach waiting for just a little bit of the water to hit their toes. But guess what? The Glovers and the Pernas were so far out there. Now, all of a sudden, they've got massive amounts of business.
Yeah, they're killing it.
They're
and
buying
then
brokers.
This person over here is saying, yeah, real estate, it's the worst real estate year ever, you know?
Right, but that's because they worked it, and they worked it during the hard times too.
Yeah.
So it's all comes down to two things: mindset and decision.
Agreed.
Mindset and decision. And I know that we've run out of time, but I really wanted to do one. I really wanted to teach a hack about how to focus and view all this stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things coming up in DOJ. It's halfway through the month. There's a lot of agents that are looking right now and saying, I don't know how I'm going to make it. I don't know how I'm going to survive. They allow their fear to kind of paralyze them. They allow these thoughts and feelings to kind of really get in the way. Now, as you know, as somebody that's going through, and I'm right now working on my NLP certification, I've been involved in NLP and stuff like that and psychology for a long time. There's something that you can do if you're a visual person, and even if you're not, you can try this. And this is a really cool trick.
Yeah.
When we worry or fear something, and do you remember when I had the conversation with you? I believe it was Richard Bandler that had the person that was afraid of snakes. Remember me telling you about this?
Yeah, you told me about it.
All right. So get this. So here's a guy that's doing a seminar to teach people and to get people to overcome their irrational fears. Here's a lady that's really afraid of snakes, like deathly afraid of snakes. So the day that he was going to bring snakes in, which I just love. I'm like, what are you afraid of? Wednesday. The lady stands up. So I believe it was on a Sunday. He was supposed to have these snakes in there. And this lady is in this crowd, and she literally stands up during the middle of it and saying, just knowing that there are snakes here, I can't even make it through this. She was so deathly afraid. And what was really interesting about this, now think about this and really think about this. The man who had the snakes got caught in traffic, never actually made it.
Mm-hmm.
There were no snakes in the building.
Yeah.
Yet this lady was deathly afraid, so much so that she was about to bounce.
Yeah.
But he asked a very interesting question, or not a question. He showed her something very interesting. This is very interesting. Think about this. He said, you got to come to realize that you're not actually afraid of the snakes because they're not here, and you're already afraid.
Exactly.
You're afraid of the idea of the snakes.
Yeah.
Because your body is reacting right now in a way where it's shaking, you're nervous, you're sweating, you're ready to leave.
Yeah.
There's
you don't
not
even
see
it. You don't even see,
you don't
hear.
even see it.
Yeah.
So what are you putting yourself into paralysis for?
Yeah.
I remember there was a agent that I started training, and I'll never forget. He was a great success story. He was so afraid of making phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember the place I used to work at? We used to have a booth that was it was almost like a phone booth.
Yeah,
and it was
it's
completely
private,
soundproof.
Yep. You could go in the box.
It was the box.
It was a bit claustrophobic.
It was extremely claustrophobic.
And it's a box with windows, so everybody sees you in the box.
They see you, yeah.
They can't hear you.
They can't hear anything you're saying.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I remember he was so deathly afraid of phone calls that I locked him in there. So when I used to train my agents, I used to lock them in the box, and they had to at least connect with 5 people before I'd let them out. But by the time they connected with the 5, guess what? Well, that wasn't so bad. Now I can keep going. And before you know it, you took a person that never made phone calls before because they were so afraid. This guy was so afraid. I remember his hands were bunched up, and literal sweat, like rain, was dripping from his hands because they were clammy. He was so nervous.
Yeah.
But he had made one phone call. And here's the weird thing. There wasn't even a phone in that booth. What he was afraid of was all up here.
Yeah.
And he allowed that for a long time to interfere with his ability to make calls. And as soon as he started making those, he became one of the top agents, the top agent in that brokerage.
Yeah, I believe it.
And now he has a great career and owns a grocery store. So the point is, what you think, sometimes we have to grasp those thoughts. I love this question. I said it last week, but I think people missed it. I love this question. How is this thought serving me?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we just need to stop. Is it worth it for me to start my career? I've been calling leads every day and they're not going anywhere. I don't have anybody left to call. My entire database said no to me. The DOJ is going to make it so that this business doesn't. No. Stop. How do any of those thoughts serve you? Look, if you don't really want to be in real estate, get out.
Yeah.
You don't have to find an excuse. Just leave. It didn't work for you. Just leave.
Try your new thing.
But if you're gonna sit here, you might as well do it. And some of it is just mindset. None of that really serves you.
Yeah.
If the entire world changes, COVID's a great example.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of people that pivoted during COVID, right? And some great things came out of that.
Yeah.
Stores were like, okay, we can't serve people. We'll bring groceries straight to their car. What an amazing thing that was created.
Oh my gosh. So many service came out. Yeah.
I love curbside service.
Oh, I love it.
The $30 buckets of popcorn that you can buy from AMC. Awesome.
I know.
That came out of COVID.
The best part about the grocery thing, though, is they literally will put the groceries in your car.
Yes.
You don't have to do anything.
It's the best.
I know.
And so but see, that was somebody thinking, how can we shift during this period of time?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's other people that just allowed themselves to go out of business.
Yeah. They're like, it's the end of the world.
It's the end of the world.
This is horrible. I've never experienced this. And then other people pivoted and they're like, oh, okay, well, now this is happening. So what can I do?
What can I do?
Stay in business.
That's it. Yes. And or launch and improve and get even better. Yeah. I mean, we've seen it in big companies.
Exactly. I was going to say, like, there's small companies that survived. There's big companies that didn't survive. And it just goes back to, what does a consumer need? And we already know important fields from COVID, medical fields are very important. Real estate is one of those important fields.
We had to fight for that. At first they said that we weren't.
But it's like people lose their house. You never really know. Someone may get divorced. Someone may have passed away.
There might be a wildfire somewhere.
Or someone just wants to move,
why not? Get out,
or there is, there's a wildfire. But
or they're looking
real
for a podcast
estate is
studio.
important because there will always be the need for someone to have a home.
Right. And, at the end of the day, it's funny because we like to, especially when we're really mad at somebody, we like to shift all that responsibility of our attitude and feelings onto another person. Mm-hmm. But you got to realize it's you, like we said last year, it's your head. When this stuff comes around, instead of being fearful of it, what does it matter? None of this matters.
Yeah, what does
How
it matter?
Can I still succeed?
Exactly.
If I really want to and I got to work harder, I got to work harder. Who do I need to find or reach out to so that I can find a path to go? Right.
Where do I want to put my energy? Do I want to put my energy into myself and my career and my business? Or do I want to put my energy into thinking about the DOJ or whatever, all these things? Because at the end of the day, it is, and Pam.
Good old Pam.
At the end of the day, it is energy that you are wasting. And honestly, I'd rather have energy not wasted and put it into myself.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. With that being said, let's go ahead and put a bow tie on this. But before I do that, you got me. I thought of something interesting.
Oh.
We were talking about something and I said, oh, you know what? This would be fun to do. So let's do something fun here.
Okay.
We were talking about logos and then you said that you'd have the 3 stars or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
How long do you think it would take you to design a logo?
I don't know, the weekend.
Perfect. I have a challenge for you. Let's do a logo challenge.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, except for how I do things. I'm gonna make a logo for you.
For me.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to make a logo. I'm gonna say this represents you, and then I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
You make one for me.
Okay.
We'll reveal it first thing of our next show before the guest comes on.
Okay.
And then we'll let people, see them. I don't know if they want to vote. I don't know how to turn that into a
and people watching too. Think about it. Do you have a logo for yourself?
Let's just make logos for other people too. Like the people that
if
listen.
You want us to make you a logo,
I'm going to make a logo for Pam, the new I don't know who this people is. I don't know. I failed government. All right. Anyway, that being said.
Yeah, so it's time to hit the lights, close the door, and pull the sign. We're going to end the open house today. Thank you for watching. And make sure, if you haven't already, like, follow, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. And if you're following us live and or if you're watching the replay, we do need a suggestion for the musical style for this episode. That will be up when the episode gets edited and launches. We appreciate you for following along, watching us live on this chaotic ride here that will need some editing. And we will chat with you next time.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Are you able to end the